Okay, so now we learn the Mishnah Yomis for the second day of Yom Tov, and let's go to the 8th parak, and let's see. Let's work backwards. So that would be Mishnah Hey and Mishnah Vav, correct? Okay. Correct? Yeah. So we are sponsored by the Fisher family, Lila Nishmas Basi Bas Rabbi Shlomo ben Avram Alevi, Perel Bas Ruvain. We also sponsored Lila Nishmas David ben Chaim. What a very special man he was. For Yomis ben Chayesar, for the schus of Avram and Yom Benish ben Malchudis and family. We learn sponsored by Yol Klugman and family for their Panos Gzunt and Nachas, and for Shalema for Meir ben Chayesar. So over here, what happens is Hamoicher Zeisav La'etzim. I sell my olive shoots to Shelley. They're poor production. And therefore I sell it to him to use as timber, as firewood. Along the way, v'asu poches meravias l'sa. Along the way, it did produce some inferior olives, but these olives, if they're processed, produce less than a quarter of a lug per saw of olives. That, I say, forget it. Shelley, you could keep it. I give it to Shelley who bought the wood. But if it turns out surprisingly, it produces enough olives that it would make a quarter of a lug per saw. So Shelley says, Zeisi Gidlu, Rabbi Weiss, my olives, I bought these olive shoots and they produced it. But I say, no, it comes from my land. So yachloiku, we divide it. Now here's an interesting case. There's a flash flood. And shotaf nor zeisav. My olive grove is uprooted and swept away, but I follow it. I don't give up. I'm not miyayish. I had my binoculars out. And I see that they're dumped into Shelley's field. And as the Rav says, they got uprooted with clods of earth, together with clods of earth. So that now when they take root in Shelley's property, it's not new, because if it were new, then the first 3 years would be Arla. But since it's with my clods of earth, it's not new. Now it starts producing olives. So I say, Shelley, it's my olive grove that produced it. But Shelley says, look, it's growing from my field. So once again, yachloik. Now, the next case over here is with the elusive Yisrael Fisher. You know, so when he's not in Tannersville, sometimes he looks to rent somewhere else. So Amasker Bayis L'Chaveira, if Yisrael rents a house for me. Now, in the winter months, you can't find other rental properties. So I cannot tell him to evict. I cannot evict him. I can't tell him to leave from Sukkot to Pesach, because it will be impossible to find something else. If I want to tell him to leave, then I have to give him b'yamei chama in the summer advance notice of at least shloshim yom, of at least 30 days. Now that's true if it's in small towns, ubekrochen, but in big cities, there's no rental properties. It's like Borough Park. We're going to get a rental property. Ubekrochen, in big cities, if I want to tell him to leave whether it's in the summer or in the winter, shneim esach chodesh. I have to give him 12 months advance notice. Now, but let's say I'm renting to Yisrael a store. Now, a store, Yisrael's a nice guy. And he sells to a lot of people with credit. If I'll make him leave quickly, people won't know where he is to pay up what they owe. So, b'chanuyos, if it's a store, echad hayoros ve'echad krachim, whether it's a small city or a big town, I have to give him time to collect the money owed to him. Shneim esach chodesh, I have to give him advance notice a year, so he'll be able to collect the money that's owed to him. Now, Rav Shimon Gamliel says, if I'm renting him as a baker or as a dyer, bakers and dyers advance credit for 3 years. So then I have to give him advance notice 3 years, so he could collect his money. Shem Gamliel Aimer, Chanush shel Nachtaimim, a baker, or Vishel Tzabam, or a dyer, Shalosh 3 years. For example, if Yisrael will want to not come on anymore, he has to give us 3 years advance notice. Now, okay, so we'll just pause a minute to change the chat.